For bearing with us. I think we are getting this slowly up and running here. We are live on my Facebook page, J-Dubs. Good job. I will confirm I love CVille. You confirm YouTube if you could, please. And you confirm LinkedIn if you could. We are not quite yet live on the I love CVille Facebook page. I will confirm when we are. Thank you guys for bearing with us as we try to get something up on a Friday, on a day where we're doing the best we can with what we got, which I think is such as life. We're not yet live on the group.
I know.
We are live on my Facebook. We are live on I Love CVille Food. So that's 2 right there. Excellent. We are live now on I Love CVille. Excellent. Viewers and listeners. Thank you, Janice Boyce Trevelyan. We're working on it. We are working on it. All right. Are you live on YouTube?
I'm going to check now.
Thank you.
Should be. I'm seeing a viewer.
We are? Excellent. Fantastic. Live on YouTube. Okay. I think we're good. We still got to get this panel up on the show, and then the Deion Sanders video. All right. Let's rock and roll. Thank you guys for your patience. Judah's doing the best he can here. All right. You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah. Quiet on the set.
Okay, guys, I think we have this figured out. Thank you for joining us on the show, and thank you for bearing with us here through some technical difficulties, as literally we are using 4 different pieces of software to try to get this show on air. It's a gorgeous Friday, and it's the last day of the week before Easter weekend, and still we have content that we need to relay to you, the viewer and listener. I don't think this has been covered very closely, but it should. The lawsuit against the new zoning ordinance, upzoning in Charlottesville, is now able to move forward. This is a check mark in the column of those that opposed upzoning in Charlottesville and said proper due diligence and study was not done correctly. So I want to talk about that on today's show. I also want to highlight on today's show what appears to be, and appears is not even the right word, what is Deion Sanders calling out Tony Elliott, the head football coach, one of the most known football coaches in college football, Deion Sanders, said that Tony Elliott and UVA football offered one of his players a bag of money to come to the University of Virginia. Now, there's nothing wrong with offering players a bag of money. Such as NIL and such as the transfer portal era that we live in. Is there something wrong for actively recruiting a guy that's on a roster that perhaps was not looking to transfer? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Regardless, I think we have the video footage of Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, calling out Virginia coach Tony Elliott as it applies to a safety or a defensive back on the Colorado Buffaloes roster, Carter Stoudemire. And he said, I'm not leaving Colorado, I'm not leaving Deion Sanders, but this is what has happened to me as it pertains to the football program at Charlottesville, and we will play that video on today's show. I will imagine that video is going to start making its rounds, guys, not just on social media, but with legacy media as well. I want to talk on today's show about 717 Hinton Avenue, and give me a thumbs up when you have that video, okay? 717 Hinton Avenue, guys, asking price of $1,075,000, now under contract in Belmont. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, just under 2,000 square feet. It did not take long for this home to go under contract. The real estate market in Charlottesville and Albemarle County is showing signs of like head-scratching moments as interest is is really picking up with the warmer weather upon us. We'll talk on today's show, guys, of thank goodness the 4th of July fireworks returning, this time atop Carter's Mountain, as a push has been made to save a community event, an Independence Day celebration that prior to COVID used to be the talk of town. Fireworks in McIntyre Park captivated the attention of all of us. Lawn chairs, picnic blankets, food, some spirits in McIntyre Park as we watch the sky get peppered with fireworks as we celebrated our independence. Unfortunately, that communal spirit has diminished of late, maybe a collateral damage of COVID, but it is now returning thanks to some community leaders and some sponsorship and underwriting dollars. Fireworks are not cheap to produce or launch. And this very short 18-minute segment of fireworks on the 4th of July is going to cost a boatload of money. We'll put that in perspective on today's show. I want to talk on the program the economics of UVA season ticket price increases. Judah and I wanted to talk about tacos, Judah's spirit animal tacos on the program today. And of course, answer any questions that you may have. Judah, we'll go to a studio camera and a two-shot. You got that Coach Prime footage locked and loaded?
I do.
Fantastic. We're up in air. I appreciate you getting us on the show here. Headline that most intrigues you today and why?
Let's see. Well, I'm also thrilled that we're getting the fireworks back, at least in one place, and I'm always excited about tacos.
Tacos, your spirit animal, you say. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com, located on East High Street. John and Andrew Vermillion are doing fantastic things at a 60-plus-year-old business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Support the businesses you want to see make another 60 years, and this is certainly one of them. Small Business Person of the Year, John Vermillion. And Andrew Vermillion, his son, carrying the business on into another generation of proudly serving the community, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. I want to talk about the lawsuit. I'm very excited to talk about fireworks as you are, tacos as you are. I'm concerned with what's happening with licensing and tickets at UVA, with the athletic department asking for a significant amount of money from the fan base that's interested in basketball, especially since the basketball team has struggled. We'll show the video footage of Deion Sanders calling out Tony Elliott on today's show. Literally looks at a camera and mentions Virginia and UVA, and it's attempt to steal a Colorado player from a roster with what he says is a bag of money. But I think the first topic that we should talk about, because it's been in the works for years, is Charlottesville Circuit Court Judge Claude Worrell has basically said that this lawsuit against upzoning in the city of Charlottesville can move forward. And I've heard from folks that were in the courtroom, the folks that were that are the plaintiffs that are suing the city of Charlottesville. They highlighted a number of things and direct messages and text messages to us. First, that they highlighted that the city law firm, and remember, there's no city attorney right now. Charlottesville City is outsourcing its representation to an attorney, to a law group, a law firm called Gentry and Locke. And Gentry and Locke's representative was Ryan Starks. And it sounds like, from speaking with the plaintiffs or hearing from the plaintiffs, that the attorney Ryan Starks of the law firm Gentry Locke was extremely unprepared and unconvincing and uncompelling in his efforts in representing Charlottesville City. So here we have a number of layers to the onion. Onion layer one, the new zoning ordinance that first was approved in December of 2023. So now we're more than a year with this new zoning ordinance. Heck, we're approaching 18 months. The lawsuit against this new zoning ordinance, where plaintiffs argued that traffic studies were not done correctly, before this was approved, that infrastructure strains are a reality with this new zoning ordinance. And because of these concerns, the new zoning ordinance should be adjusted or put it on ice. The judge presiding over this lawsuit, Claude Royal, has said this lawsuit can move forward. So first piece of information that you need to understand. Sean Tubbs, great reporting on this. Second piece of information, no city attorney right now for Charlottesville, outsourced to a law firm called Gentry Locke, paying a lot of money, taxpayers, for this representation. And the representation that they got in court from the attorney, we are told from folks in the courtroom, Ryan Starks, was far from compelling. And that's from the plaintiffs themselves, who are saying he was not very impressive in front of the judge. So what does this mean to us? Well, it means that Charlottesville is going to continue to have to defend itself in court. What it means for the plaintiffs is they're going to continue to have to foot the bill on this lawsuit. And a lawsuit that continues to run this length of time is not cheap to foot. It's not cheap to foot.
And Worrell's even said that it may not come to trial quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a long ways away from this. Does it mean for Charlottesville proper, Charlottesville as a city, as a jurisdiction? It means that you're not going to have any clarity on upzoning or new zoning anytime soon. And if you don't have clarity on this ordinance, why would folks choose to move forward under such cloud of uncertainty? Like if you're a developer, I mean, look at the Alderman Road project. We highlighted this project, 303 Alderman Road in Charlottesville? 303 Alderman Road in Charlottesville, ladies and gentlemen, the rancher that was purchased in the Lewis Mountain neighborhood, that continues to be put on ice. $835,000 Evergreen Home Builders paid for 303 Alderman Road in June. Nothing has happened to this, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, June of 2023, and still nothing has happened to this. Let me confirm the purchase price on the GIS here. I'm going to open the GIS. God, I've been spending so much time on this website lately. 303 Alderman Road, and I feel for the Evergreen folks. I also feel for the Lewis Mountain neighborhood. It was purchased in June of 2024, excuse me. So we're approaching a year of ownership here. $835,000 by Evergreen Home Builders. We're almost at the 1-year marker, and nothing has been done with this.
Yeah.
The luxury brownstones no closer to materializing than they were when this closed in June. So follow it. It's a story to follow. The judge is saying this isn't going to be decided anytime soon.
Yeah.
The plaintiffs have to figure out how they're going to continue paying for this. The city of Charlottesville's got to figure out how it's going to still pay for this. Obviously, it's your tax dollars. If you're on the city of Charlottesville side, you hope you get better representation than what you saw in the middle of this week. Well, we heard it was very poor. You have the questions that surround the judge who lives in the city, owns a house in the city, and whose wife was a housing advocate that pushed for housing and more density.
Pushed for the zoning.
The plaintiffs straight up, if this doesn't go this way, are going to appeal and said it was the wrong judge to make this call. They've already indicated that because of conflict of interest. And as a result, everyone in the city is left with this zoning ambiguity, zoning uncertainty, ambiguous zoning. And projects are just going to sit on ice. Mm-hmm. Not the type of headline that's going to drum up interest like alleged white-collar racketeering at UVA, but nevertheless, the type of headline that should be followed because it impacts the community closely, significantly. We'll follow it on the I Love CVille show. Another headline we should follow as you're rotating lower thirds on screen is the Deion Sanders. This hit the interwebs about 90 minutes before the show, and frankly was one of the reasons why we were late coming on the program. Coach Prime, the head coach at Colorado, is calling out UVA.
Yeah.
The University of Virginia according to Coach Prime in video footage now released before this show, according to Coach Prime, Tony Elliott and UVA football went after one of his rostered football players, a defensive back. And this defensive back had a breakout season, ladies and gentlemen, last year. And Virginia, who's trying to repair its football program, it has the least amount of wins of any of the Power Football Conference teams over the last 3 years. UVA has the least amount. And Tony Elliott this year is coaching for his job, and he evidently, according to Deion Sanders, tampered with one of his football players, defensive back Carter Stoudemire. And in a practice session that was videoed by Colorado staff, Deion Sanders tells the tale or the story, and according to Deion, it's fact, of UVA football offering a rostered Colorado football player a bag of money to leave Colorado to come to Charlottesville, a young man by the name of Carter Stoudemire. We have that video footage for you. Do you have that ready to go?
Yep.
Let's play that video footage in 3, 2, 1.
Virginia, you got to stop. I let you have one. I ain't say nothing about it.
Hold him up.
Come on now. Come on. We let you have one.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
I ain't say nothing about it. Hey, it's another brother.
What do you make? What do you make of that?
I mean, he's obviously not happy. And
Maybe the most star caliber coach in football right now. I'm not saying he's the most successful. I'm not saying he's the most credentialed.
Yeah.
But is there a coach with more star power right now than Football Hall of Famer, former nationally syndicated broadcaster Deion Sanders? Let's play that video footage again. Deion Sanders in practice calling out Virginia football for trying to recruit one of its players. He calls it tampering. He literally says this in the video. I'll read it to you. Carter Stoudemire got offered a bag, he says in the video, Deion. What's the school that offered you the bag, Carter? Virginia, Stoudemire responds. Then Sanders says to the camera, Virginia, you got to stop. I let you have one. I ain't say nothing about it. Come on now. Come on now. We let you have one, Deion Sanders says. And then we got tampering, the word tampering being used as it pertains to Virginia football. Let's play that video footage again in 3, 2, 1.
Virginia, you got to stop. I let you have one. I ain't say nothing about it.
Hold him up.
Come on now. Come on. We let you have one.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
I ain't say nothing about it. Hey, it's another brother.
Is that the era we live in? I guess that is the era we live in, where schools are now going after actively rostered players and saying, here's a bag of money, come play college football for us, leave your team and come play for us. Do we blame Virginia football for this? Do we blame Tony Elliott for this? Deion Sanders certainly does. Or is this just how you have to recruit in the NIL transfer portal era that we live in, that we're rooting in, that we're pulling in? That's the question. And I'll say this, is this a sign of desperation? Would Tony Elliott have made this move if he wasn't coaching for his career right now in Charlottesville? If the year doesn't go well in 2025 for Virginia football, the man is fired. The head coach is fired. Is that a sign of desperation? And the very intriguing part, and you can go to the economics of season tickets here. If you stay in a two-shot, if you put that lower third on screen for me. We are at a time right now where Virginia, its athletic department, is asking the fan base for even more money to maintain its season tickets. I highlighted this briefly earlier in the week, and I should have spent more time. There's an Instagram account that I follow called WaHoops that's really got its coverage dialed in with Virginia athletics. It wrote this Instagram account 3 days ago said, the UVA Athletics said, do you have the seating chart that you can put on screen?
Let me check.
If you have that seating chart, give me a thumbs up so we can mention it live on air. It's on screen? Take a look at the screen, guys. So we're putting the seating chart that was released to fans. Okay, and this would be for the start of the 2027 calendar year. UVA Athletics announced yesterday the 2027 seating plan according to the Instagram account Wahoops for men's basketball. Starting in 2027, these are the prices you'll need to pay. If you want 2 tickets in the pink section, $319, which is not the best seats behind the basket, you will have to pay $7,000 now or $10,000 over 5 years. That's $2,000 per year, $1,000 per seat, plus you'll need to donate $3,500 per year for those 2 tickets. So for 2 tickets in the pink section, you'll pay $27,500 over 5 years. If you want 2 tickets in section 112, the yellow section, you are going to pay $142,500 over 5 years. They're asking their most loyal fans for even more money at a time when the basketball team has struggled mightily. Think about that. They're asking for even more money from fans at a time when the basketball team has just come off a sub-500 season. So here you have 2 examples of where we are in college athletics and the lack of amateurism in college athletics. Example number 1, Tony Elliott actively recruiting a Colorado football player, and according to the Colorado head coach, offering the young man a bag of money to defect from his current team and program and then head across the country to Charlottesville to UVA with what? 5 months before the season starts? 4.5 months before the season starts? That's one example. Deion Sanders uses the word tampering. Their words, not mine. Example number 2, basketball team is coming off a sub-500 year, a losing campaign, and fresh off the losing campaign when not a single rostered play, not a single active minute player is returning to this team. Now, you got Elijah Gertrude returning. You got talented upside big man Carter Lang, who played at Vanderbilt, that redshirted this past year and was on the roster as a walk-on. He's got tremendous upside and should be kept on this team. Elijah Gertrude's got some upside as well. He's coming off a blown knee injury. But the athletic department is asking its fan base for even more money. That's the era we live in. Do you fault Tony Elliott? I don't fault Tony Elliott. The man, if he doesn't perform this year, will be fired. Do you fault the athletic department asking for more money? I don't fault the athletic department asking for money. They have to pay players a boatload of money to field a winning roster. The interesting aspect of that press release the athletic department sent when notifying fans that they were going to ask them for more money to keep their season tickets is they kind of alluded that Ryan Odom was going to put a winning product on the court in year number 1. I would say the pressure to win now for coaches is greater than it's ever been, even brand new coaches who are expected to perform in their first year on the job. James Watson, watching the program, he says, "Great work, Tony Elliott. Shows to me that Coach Elliott is doing what he's got to do to put talent on the field. UVA's got to win football games, and UVA hasn't recovered from the pass to the lineman in the red zone against Virginia Tech." That was in the Bronco Mendenhall era when the offensive coordinator shockingly called a play where an offensive lineman was expected to throw the game-winning pass against Virginia Tech in Scott Stadium. That led to Bronco Mendenhall's demise here in Charlottesville. James Watson also says the big question is, how much money do we think that young man was being offered? $1 million or more? I think it's 100% $1 million or more. I think it's 100%. And April, before the season starts, to get a player to leave a program of Colorado's prestige or acclaim or attention with a coach in Deion Sanders who drives the market, to come to Charlottesville to play for a school that has the worst record of any of the power conferences in the last 3 years, the bag of money is north of $1 million easy. You got the quarterback for Tennessee who got kicked off the team because he was basically holding out in spring practice. He no-called, no-showed to the Tennessee Volunteers. And the Tennessee head coach said, you know what, you're going to no-call, no-show, you're going to ignore our text messages because you're holding out for more money? You know what? You're not on the team anymore. And as soon as he got booted from the team, you had programs like UCLA showing interest into the kid. It's just the era we live in. Do I fault Tony Elliott? No. Do I fault the athletic department asking fans for more money? No. Can this backfire on the athletic department at UVA? If the team struggles, absolutely. And then you'll have empty seats at the John Paul Jones Arena, just like you have empty seats at Scott Stadium. They're trying to thread a needle that is a slippery slope, a very risky proposition. Show the Deion Sanders footage again. This will go viral after this show and Legacy Media. Do you have that footage?
Yeah.
Coach Prime calling out Virginia football. I bet you this starts making the ESPN Sports Center news cycle. 3, 2, 1.
Virginia, you got to stop. I let you have one. I ain't say nothing about it.
Call them out.
Come on now. Come on. We let you have one.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
I ain't say nothing about it. Hey, it's another brother.
Wow. No more amateurism in college athletics, that's for sure. Next headline, what do you got, Gita?
Next, we've got 717 Hinton.
Did I send you this link to get the photos on screen or no?
No.
Why don't I Facebook DM you this? You get that lower third. I'll give a little commentary on this. This was sent to me by multiple people. 717 Hinton Avenue is a great street in Belmont. This house, folks were chomping at the bit with interest. That link is in your inbox. A house like 717 Hinton Avenue trading, or it's under contract, it's pending, for more than $1 million, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,957 square foot home that's 105 years old. Now, it's got some add-ons. It's been very nicely remodeled. This is a beautiful house. I'm not going to throw shade at the house at all. I think the real estate agent Greer Murphy of Ness is a pro's pro. I think the house has gotten tremendous TLC, tremendous remodeling. The location in Belmont speaks for itself. But we are now in an era where 105-year-old homes on post-stamp sized lots are trading for well over $1 million with ease. Ladies and gentlemen, you're talking well over $500 a square foot for this house. And soon we're going to be knocking on the door of $600 square foot, price per square foot transactions. 717 Hinton Avenue, great location, right next to the restaurants, right next to Bell and Moss and the local. Great spot. But are we really living in an era of $549 price per square foot transactions? Well, clearly we are. And you can't even say it's the acreage in this case, because the lot is puny in size. You get any of those photos?
I'm working on it.
I mean, the house is beautiful. I don't want to throw shade on the house. And props to the listing agent. Props to the seller. Props to the buyer. They obviously wanted this. They're going to pay over $1 million for this. Juda's going to get the pictures on screen here in a matter of moments. But, I mean, I guess what we all should have done 15 years ago was when we had a chance to buy Belmont homes for $150 or $200 or $300,000, should have bought a lot of them. If you bought a lot of them 15, 20 years ago, I mean, I remember when I had a chance to buy a home in Belmont. Now, it needed so much work, and I didn't have the money for this. This is when I was like in my, I think I was like 24, 25 years old. You could have bought homes in Belmont for like $215, $220, $225. Crazy times. $1 million plus for this. It's a beautiful home, but it's not that big. And it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And we still haven't seen what the impact is going to be, ladies and gentlemen, of a lot of heavy-hitting jobs moving to this area. You got pics?
Seeing if I can get these in.
We don't have to show them if it's too tight a turnaround.
Here is the home.
What are we? You're showing the front?
Yeah.
Look at the front. Is this $1 million+ home? I mean, it is $1 million+ home. Is the $1 million home now the old $500,000 home? What is the $1 million home now compared to price point wise pre-COVID? $400,000, $500,000, $600,000? And this is another one we should watch closely to see what it closes at. Just like we covered Delavan Street, was it 606 Delavan? This is way nicer. This is not a knockdown. But this price point, good night. What do you make of this deal, J-Dubs? I mean, it's a beautiful house. I'm not throwing shade on the house.
The interior is gorgeous.
How they finished this house was absolutely fantastic. They've paid significant attention to detail. The finishes have been nice. I mean, it's a very pretty home. But is this thing going to trade north of $1.1 million? It went under contract so wait, is that the copper downspouts and copper gutters? It's beautiful. Look at the backyard. Unbelievable. 2025, guys, Charlottesville, Virginia, and only going to uptick even more, ladies and gentlemen. You'd be about this house, Judah? The location's great.
I think it's a great looking house. I don't know if I'd pay what they're asking, but
Juan Sarmiento asks, what did this house sell for last? Well, I'll open the Charlottesville GIS. You will be surprised. Now, I have to highlight that this house, they've put a lot of money into remodeling this house. A lot of money into remodeling this house. I'm going to the Charlottesville GIS. I'm typing in 717 Hinton Avenue. I won't blow up the spot of who owns it because it's owned by an individual, not an LLC. And the current owner purchased it in 1998, 27 years ago, Juan Sarmiento, for $81,300. So in July of 1998, the current owner purchased this home for $81,300. I'll use the homes.com website because if you use the homes.com website, you can often see the permitting for remodeling for work done to the house if they went through the permitting process with the city. Not everybody does do that. All right. I'm going to 717 Hinton Avenue on homes.com. And let's see what we got here, permit-wise. I mean, guys, the assessment on this house is $665,800. It's assessed at $665K. It's probably going to trade somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.1 million. It went pending in 4 days. It was listed on April 11th and went pending on April 15th at 549 square feet. Holmes does not have any of the permit projects, of any of the remodeling permits in here, which is totally fine. Unbelievable. Welcome to Charlottesville in 2025. And I said this earlier in the week. This type of activity is going to only worsen once biotech school and data science school are fully up and running.
No doubt.
It's only going to worsen. Appreciate the question, Juan Sarmiento. Bill McChesney says, what is the NZO designation and will that allow for some commercial use? No commercial use on this. There's just no room for it. The zoning on this, Bill McChesney, is RA. And a lot that's this size is just you, what are you going to do with this? I mean, you just got no room to add anything to it. All right, next headline. What do you got, Judah Wickauer?
Fireworks are back.
This is good news, right?
Oh, yeah, this is great news.
We were questioning what happened to community spirit and volunteerism and engagement, community engagement. This is a great first step.
Yeah.
The fireworks are returning on the 4th of July. Carter Mountain, the location. A couple of very important underwriters. James River Bank is one. Bank of the James. And Carter Mountain Orchard are the main sponsors. They're going to get some love from the city, the county, and UVA. And it's going to be an 18-minute CVille spectacular. 18 minutes of fireworks is extremely costly. So they're asking the community for donations to help offset the overhead for this Independence Day celebration. What do you make of this, Drew?
I think it's great, and the and the location is awesome too because it'll be visible. I'm guessing from miles around. I wouldn't be surprised if you could see it in other cities.
Other counties around Charlottesville?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you will be.
it'll be nice. Nice to have fireworks back. Nice
I
to
hope
have
it's the
someplace to
start
go.
of other projects that are coming online.
I agree.
I would like to see the Dogwood Parade return. I would like to see First Night Virginia return. I hope it's the start of other stuff happening community-wise. Right now, the Tom Tom Festival's going on.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, the Tom Tom Festival's going well. I want to see that go, the community spirit return. Abru Solution says, I love this show. So fun, educational. Keep up the great work. And Random Advice on YouTube is watching from Chattanooga. And they say the status on that home is pending. You're absolutely right, Random Advice. I love when folks are watching from different states that are tied to Charlottesville. And Bill McChesney says that home on Hinton Avenue, the sale of that property will drive future assessments up, again contributing to gentrification, 100%. That's absolutely what's going to happen. Absolutely what's going to happen. As these sales like how many $1 million+ sales happen on Hinton Avenue? I could probably dig into the Charlottesville DIS. Let me see if I can. Charlottesville GIS. I'm going to type in Hinton Avenue. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on the fly. Street name, Hinton Avenue. There are there's a boatload of Hinton Avenues. There's 632 already to all the way to 808 Hinton Avenue. And the zoning is all RA with some RCs in there and a couple of CX3s. And here's an interesting thing on Hinton Avenue. There's one LLC, Nicola Properties LLC. There's another LLC, OAP LLC. There's Silver Rails LLC and Spartina LLC and Conmol Group LLC. That must be the restaurant. So on Hinton Avenue, there is 5 LLCs that own properties on Hinton Avenue. All the other owned homes are owned by locals. Actually, another one called 8 Story Commons LLC. And 717, interestingly, the listing agent of 717, who's a very good agent, also lives on Hinton Avenue and owns multiple lots there. And she's a very good agent. I hope it gets, for the seller's sake, I hope it gets top dollar. The listing agent, I hope it gets top dollar. For the folks that live on Hinton Avenue, this will impact your assessments once it closes. Yeah. And your tax base is going to go up. All right, a couple more headlines. Tacos are for dinner tonight. Judah's going to enjoy some tacos at the Miller Abode later today. How do you like your tacos?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? How do you like your
them?
tacos? Yeah.
In my belly.
Okay. He likes his tacos in his belly. I like soft tacos. I like chorizo or ground beef. I like my tacos with shredded cheese, guacamole, some hot sauce. I like a little dab of sour cream. And I generally like the soft taco toasted slightly with the cheese melted. I asked the question.
I do like some. I do like the street tacos. Two outstanding, two standouts.
Tacos Gomez?
Locally, Tacos Gomez and La Michoacana. Both do amazing soft tacos. They do the street version, which is the cilantro and onions, and those are amazing. But I also love a crunchy taco. When I go to Tacos Gomez or La Michoacana, I go with the lengua. But otherwise,
Are you going to say Tacos Gomez the best tacos in town?
I don't know if I could choose between those two places. They're pretty close in both style and quality.
Is that little corridor is turning into like the taco? I wouldn't say that's the taco epicenter. I was going to call that the taco epicenter of Charlottesville. But you might have West Main Street as the taco epicenter of Charlottesville with Continental Divide, with Mexicali.
Yeah.
What's the one I always forget where you can eat outside where Horse and Hound used to be located?
I believe that's Barcos. What is it? Mariscos, El Barcos Mariscos, something like that.
Yeah. That might be your taco epicenter, right?
Yeah, Mariscos doesn't specialize in tacos. They're more like seafood and stuff, but of course they have them. They have delicious food as well. I don't know that I've tried their tacos because I usually get a gigantic seafood.
There goes
bowl.
Hall Spencer with a fresh haircut. Hall's looking sharp. I'm going to go with Tacos Gomez and Mexicali. The Ornales family does great tacos as my top tacos in town.
Yeah, they have some amazing tacos as well. I also like Cinema Taco when I actually find them open, which is rare.
Cinema Taco on the downtown mall.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that they're in. I wouldn't say that they're in the running for best, but they do make some good stuff.
John Blair has this point on the UVA head coach going after a Colorado football player. Interesting question. Let's say that a kid signed a contractual relationship with Colorado and UVA tried to break that contract. Does the honor code have any relevance? Also, this is clearly the last year for Elliott if he doesn't go at least 8-4. Tell Judah that I had some tacos from Pharmacy Cafe last night, top notch. And if he ever wants to come to Stanton, please try Chicano Boy for great tacos.
Chicano Boy, nice. I'll keep that in mind.
Not a comment on CVille real estate, but he said a comment on inflation. $1 in 2019 would buy you $1.25 in 2025. Crazy inflation.
No doubt.
The honor code question is a great one. If he's got a contract with Colorado and Virginia encourages someone who's got a written agreement to break that contract by seducing them with a bag of money, is that an honor code violation?
Do honor code violations
apply to athletics?
No. Do they apply to people who aren't yet in the school?
It's another great question. Roy Waters says Tacos Gomez is A++.
No doubt.
That's such a great question, John. Because normally, if you have a contract with somebody, which I'm sure this kid does, we know he does in Colorado, and then if you're another entity trying to encourage that person to break his written word by saying, I can give you money to break your contract and go back on your promise, that is honor or lack thereof. But in sports today, is there honor anymore?
It also raises the question: do the teachers, professors, coaches should they be held up to the same honor code that the students are?
Yes.
Well, then,
yes, they should.
I agree, but the reason I ask is because we're pointing the spotlight at a student, and whether or not the student breaking a contract at another school would then break the honor code at UVA if they came here. But what do we think about a coach who's willing to do something like that?
I would say the teachers and the coaches should be held to an even higher standard
Yeah.
than the players and students. And the players and students should be, yeah. This is just an insane world we're living in right now. And it's because the guy's coaching for his job. If he doesn't win this year, he's going to get fired. Yeah. So he's doing whatever he can to win. And whatever he can, evidently, is going after players currently on active rosters that aren't even in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about this, is this guy's not in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And he then called out Tony Elliott and said, "No, I'm not going." And the kid's exact words were, if anything, the kid's the one that has honor. If you look in this story, the kid later says, "There's no bag of money or amount of money that would get me to leave Colorado and coach Prime."
It's good to hear.
If anything, the kid's the one with the honor.
Right.
All right, that's the Friday edition of the show. Thank you for bearing with us as we were late getting on the show here. The first 10 minutes before the program is a crapshoot on a lot of days, or just absolute organized chaos. We were a little late today, and thank you for bearing with us. We will be back in the saddle on Monday at 12:30 for the I Love CVille show. For Judah Wickower, my name is Jerry Miller. So long.